Hey, what's up, guys? You're listening to the It Takes a Village podcast. I'm Ashley, your host. This is where the struggles are real, the callings are heavy, the kids are sticky. We come together because it takes a village, and this is your tribe. Hey guys, another marriage disclosure episode. We're talking about how to decide who does what around the house. So stay tuned if you really want to hear us ruffle some feathers. No, I'm just kidding. But for us, the Hubs is on the podcast with me today. Say
hey.
Hey, babe. For us, I think like any other episode you're going to hear us talking about, it starts with having a conversation and figuring out what you need in this season of life, like what life just looks like for you guys. I know traditionally people tend to think like the woman does the house stuff, the man does the other stuff. I don't really believe in that. We don't function by that mindset. I don't know, babe, what do you think? How do you think a couple should approach this who does what around the house situation?
Well, historically, for us, originally I was working 80 plus hours a week when I was in the car business, and you were not working, you were a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
And so your work was keeping the house in order, and you did a phenomenal job at that.
My work was basically keeping all the things going outside of his control.
Right.
So, and I think that that's the way to look at it versus like you take care of the house.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things where I knew that, and at the time, having a job that required a ridiculous amount of hours and was also a highly stressful job,
right,
that I didn't have to worry about anything on the home front. Like, you had that on lockdown and gave me extreme peace of mind,
right,
while I was at work.
Right.
Now, a couple years later, removed from that, like, I have a lot more flexibility. Yeah.
We're in a totally different season.
Yeah. And also now you're working again because you're working at the kids' school. And so it looks completely different. So even during the weekends when you're out at the grocery store picking stuff up, then I'm usually at home either cleaning or folding laundry.
Right.
And we just tag team it.
Yeah, and the key, I think, to functioning, so how we function our household responsibilities, and this may not work for everybody, but for us in this season of life, it does, and that's that we are, when you can't, I will, if you aren't, then I will, in this mindset of, when I'm out, you're going to pick up where I left off. If you're gone, I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. And we just kind of navigate in that way. But
speaking of, and I just bring this up for perspective for whoever's listening, is like when you were sick with hyperemesis for 3 months, like I didn't expect you to do anything at all.
Yeah, I did nothing.
And then so I cooked, I cleaned, I got the kids where they needed to be. I took care of you and switching out your IV ports and everything that needed to be done.
Right.
Or your pump ports. But long story short, like, there are different seasons of life, and some, we've said this before, like, sometimes it's 50-50, sometimes it's 70-30, and sometimes it's 10-90. Like, or
in that case, it was like 0-100.
Yeah.
I did nothing. I literally did nothing.
You kept the baby alive.
Yeah. So I think that is, first and foremost, you have to have a conversation of what does life look like for you guys right now. If you're having a new baby and say you're set up to where like you do the majority of the house cleaning and the maintaining of the schedule and all these things, then you need to have a conversation of like, hey, there's about to be another person, or hey, we're about to have 3 more, like maybe you're on your 3rd kiddo, and things are busy. Like, you just need to have a conversation of, I'm going to need help in different stages of that, whether it's like, oh, I've just had the baby, I'm going to need you to step up in these areas, or maybe it's I'm going back to work. So that means, like, when I went back to work, we had this conversation of what I was going to need help with. And I think that one of the biggest things that you can do to make yourself successful, to take the stress off yourself, the stress off each other, and the freedom for your spouse to step into ownership of household responsibilities is to let go of your expectations. Let go of perfectionism, the way you do it, whatever you want to call it, and just call done. So like for laundry, when I leave for the grocery store, especially because it's typically on the weekends, which means I'm also doing laundry. Usually when I leave for the grocery store, I tell Dalton, I say like, hey, this is in the washer, this is in the dryer. When the dryer's done, move X from the washer to the dryer, and this needs to be folded, or tell the kids that they need to fold their clothes. And I don't worry about anything that happens after that. If he folds it, and it's put away the way that it is, and I don't make a big fuss about it. I honestly don't care. I used to care, but then for one, if you bicker, if you tell them that it's not done the right way, if you like nag on them about the way that it is done, then they are not going to want to participate at all. Because if you're going behind them, that's something that I learned very early on with my parents. Is my parents, or my stepdad and my mom used to argue about cleaning, which was the dumbest thing. But my mom would clean. My dad would go behind her and clean it because it wasn't clean enough. So then my mom stopped cleaning, but then he got mad because she wasn't cleaning anymore. So like you don't want to be those people. So for us, it's like, done is done. So is it more important to you to argue and have it done, like have your t-shirt tri-folded in this, perfect little triangle in the drawer horizontally? Or is it
condo?
Yeah. Is it going to be better for you guys in this season for it to just be done? Like, I honestly would much rather it be folded in a 3-dimensional cube and it be put away than for it to be piled up on my couch. Like, that would be more stressful to me, and that's going to create friction. But that's just, there's a whole ton of things that just conspire when things aren't just done. So having that conversation, giving your spouse the freedom to enter into your space, even if you quote unquote feel like you do it better, and just let it be done. Like,
the way you solve everything is if both people are just willing to serve the other and just say, hey babe, what can I help with?
Yeah. That's the other thing that I was going to bring up, is that you have to tell your spouse what you need.
Yeah. If you say nothing, hey, there's nothing you can help with, and they say, okay, and they go back in the other room, then
you can't get mad.
Yeah, it's the person's fault who said, no, I don't need any help.
Yeah, nothing. Which I do that sometimes still too, out of habit or whatever, because it's easier. You think in your mind it's easier for you, you're like, you want to explain all the steps, and honestly, you just need to throw the steps out the window, and you just need to say, yes, the dishes need to be done. And if he loads it a different way or she loads it a different way, who cares? Like, it's done. Which maybe that should be the theme of this episode, is done is done. Done is better than not at all. But yeah, just having that conversation of, and then also, what are you guys good at? Like, maybe, like for me, keeping, I don't know, certain things in order around the house are easier for me. Like knowing the rotation of the bed sheets, like that's easier for me. So I don't.
Than tracking every single financial.
Right. Yeah.
Transaction.
So I just go through the house when I can, pull the sheets off, throw them in the washer. That doesn't mean to say that when they're not, that I don't completely finish the job. Like, I might say, hey, sheets are in the dryer. Can you put them on the beds? The way that we approach it is that we're here to help each other out, because life is crazy, it's busy, and we're here to support each other, not to, like, put people in specific roles. So I would say done is done. Just give each other space to help each other out, ask for help.
Tag team. Back again.
That's a song, right? As soon as you said that, but I can't think of what song that is. What song is that?
I don't know the name.
Okay, anyways. Now you're going to throw me off. But yeah, I think having the conversation, if you enjoy doing the dishes and that's something that you can't let go of, is, putting them away. But the more involved that your spouse gets in putting away the dishes, the more they're going to know where things are. I know when like Dalton was working those long hours and he started to step more into the roles of the home, he didn't know where things were. And so I couldn't be irritated that he was asking me, where does this go? Where is this at? Yeah. I mean, initially you can be irritated, but like as the more involved they get, the easier it is for them. And then they don't ask you anymore because they know where everything goes. They trust that you're okay with the way that they fold the towels and all that. So I think just looking at it as like Mario and Luigi, like just get it done together, right? Partners, they're just drinking sidekicks. Yeah. The little guy's awake, so that's all that I have for you guys on that. We just wanted to touch on household roles because I feel like sometimes you just need a little encouragement to have the conversations, and we just love getting on the podcast and helping you guys out, talking about things. So hope this was helpful for you guys. Feel free to share this episode if it was helpful to you. Let us know if you want us to do any more marriage full disclosure episodes, and we will hop on and do those. And catch you guys next time. Hey guys, again, I just wanted to hop on and thank you for listening. This has been a podcast going strong since 2016. You guys, I cannot believe it. If you go back and listen to the very first episodes, it may be confusing because it used to be called Today's Eden. And then I think a year later, maybe even less than that, a few months later, I changed the name to It Takes a Village because I felt like that really encompassed what we're trying to do, or what I'm trying to do is just unite women and grow together in motherhood. And so if you like this podcast, I would love for you to share it. You guys, I have been blown away at how fast this podcast has been growing. The listener broadband width, if that's a word. Anyways, it doesn't matter. I'm just super excited that you guys are getting stuff from this, that you're in the same place that I am, or that I can help you get out of a place that I recently was, that now I'm on the other side of it. Like, that is what motherhood is all about. That's what just like community is all about, having friends. And that's what I consider you guys as friends, even though I can't physically see you. I hope that you know that when I'm speaking and when I'm recording, that I'm thinking about you, and that I'm not only like talking at you. It's like as if we're in a circle together just having a conversation. I want you to be in it just as much as I'm in it, and invested just as much as I'm invested. So if you love it, share it, because that is the greatest way that you're going to help me out. And then, hey, follow me on Instagram because that's where I like to hang out. And you can chat with me, shoot me a message. We can talk about things. Like, I'm a normal person, guys. I'm not just a voice on your radio or whatever it is you listen to me on. I want to get to know you. So give me a shout out, give me a share, do those things. And I hope you guys continue to listen. And thank you so much.